What actually inspired you to relocate to Sweden? Quite far away, Brazil, Sweden, very different in terms of weather.
I think I was in a period of my life that I was seeking for a change. I wanted to live in different cultures. I wanted to experience how it is to work with a multicultural teams. And Sweden wasn't my first option. I was open for Europe, open for Canada as well. I was pretty much open, I guess, to other countries. But Sweden was something that didn't cross my mind. And I didn't know actually that the tech scene was something so big here as I can see it is. But I received an offer from the first company I came to work with, and when I was in Brazil, and I decided to give it a try since I was so open to tries, and I think it was the best decision ever. I absolutely love Sweden, and I keep thinking that I don't know if I would be so happy if I was going to another place, but I think it was really a good decision for me.
So Sweden has your heart well and truly. Can you see yourself being here long term now? This is home.
Yes, I think speaking about home is very difficult because there is a phase in our lives as immigrants. Well, it's my third year here, so I'm not sure just yet if this feeling is gonna pass. But I feel like when you're an immigrant, home it's not here, but home is not Brazil as well. So it is kind of tricky. But whenever I go to Brazil, I feel like Sweden is home. Whenever I'm here, I feel like Brazil is home. So it is tricky. But of course, I can see myself here, and at least I don't do any kind of long-term plans. At least short-term plans, definitely Sweden has my heart.
So to break it down, how did the process actually look from getting your job offer, being in Brazil, to your first day at work?
I received the offer on November 2017. Then I came on January 2018, and I had basically 3 months to move. And it was crazy because it was during the Christmas and New Year's period. And I had an agreement to start with a starting date. And I had to do everything in Brazil. Like I had to sell my car, apartment, and prepare for the big move. And since I moved in the winter here, it was summer in Brazil. So it was really, really hot in Rio, where I'm from, like around 38 to 40 degrees.
Wow.
And when I arrived here in Sweden, there was like a negative temperatures, and it was so dark. But I think the company was really, really supportive from day one. So they made sure I could get an apartment that is quite challenging here in Stockholm. And I think on my first day at work, they gave me a lot of support. They were, of course, very much used to have people from outside Sweden, and especially people who never worked abroad. So I think the welcoming and the first day was really, really great. It gave me a really good impression. And I think first impressions, sometimes they matter a lot. In that sense, it could have been worse, but I think I was very, very lucky and very privileged to have a very good start.
Outside of the apartment searching, which I know your company supported you with, what would you say were the biggest challenges you had to overcome throughout the relocation?
I had no problems at all with the visa and the process of getting here, but I would say the language was something challenging because I had no experience with Swedish at all before. So going to the supermarket, for example, was crazy because everything was written in Swedish, and I was, of course, using Google Translate all the time. But I think this is something that internet helps a lot, of course. I think the hardest part was actually to adapt to the weather and the food, and missing my friends and family. I feel that this is the hardest part when we immigrate for so far away. It's not like I can take a plane and be in Brazil in a short period. It takes I don't know, door to door around 24 hours. So it is really far from Brazil and far from my friends and family, and I really miss them.
With that in mind, how did you then begin to establish a new support system and also begin to build effective relationships?
Work helped me a lot. So since I was working with so many people in the same situation as I was, we were facing similar challenges. It was easier to create a bond with these people. And I also have a big community of Brazilian friends here, and some part of them became family. We were so close that I can consider myself lucky that I have a family here.
Amazing.
And I met them basically going to Brazilian events, sometimes at work as well. But it's great that sometimes it's challenging to create effective relationships and have a support system as an immigrant. But I think it's so important. It's one of the most important things.
So building and establishing that network is one thing. What else would you say are your top tips for settling into a new location and relocation in general?
When you are relocating to a place where you have no idea about the culture and about the history and the language, I think it's very important to start with that and actually try to engage more with the society to feel more included and to feel part of it. I think learning the language is something that opens lots of doors. For me, it's still a challenge with Swedish. I can speak very basic Swedish. I would say like a 3 or 4 years old. But I feel that now compared to when I started the journey with Swedish, it already opens lots of doors. People are usually happy that you are putting an effort to learn the language, and they are much more open to establish a relationship.